Lords, I have listened to, I think, 9 hours of debate yesterday and today. I wasn't going to speak, but I somehow think I've got to, because I could have said so many things, and I'm not going to say them. I just want to make 3 points. The first point is I want to thank Lord Rooker and the people in the other place who have put together this bill, because I think it is an example of cross-party working, which may be very important. It's 50 years since I sat in this House in the official box, and I've been observing its proceedings for that period regularly. And I have a sense at the moment that we are in a watershed. Things will never be the same after these Brexit years, not least because Brexit will be with us for 10, 15, 20 years. It will divide the country, whether we leave or whether we stay. And we have a huge problem dealing with it. And part of that problem is that our political institutions are not keeping up with the world that's changing around us. We are going to have to look at ourselves at some point, quite radically, in order to ensure that we can keep up with what's expected of us. And we're not helping ourselves with the way we are carrying business at the moment. But within this, the position of political parties is becoming a problem. I should never talk about political parties. I lack the gene which gives people passion for political parties. I've observed politicians closely. I've been very privileged for a long time, and I have never, ever understood it. I just accept that I'm not one of you. But equally, I know the importance of parties. And I feel, both in government and political and party affairs at the moment, there are too many moving parts. Too many fixed points in my structures in my life are no longer stable, no longer reliable. And that is an unnerving feeling. I would just, the dismissal of 21 members of the Conservative Party appalls me, if I'm honest. I'm not a politician. It just appalls me. It is over 50 years since I observed a number of leading Conservative politicians, the noble Lord Howard, the noble Lord Gummer, the noble Lord Lamont, and indeed Mr. Kenneth Clarke in the Cambridge Union. I remember Kenneth Clarke as a blonde, tall, slim chap with a northern accent. And I find it appalling, dismaying. I'm utterly dismayed to find his contribution treated so cavalierly. And it's true, I could go at length. But within that, I also think, that I feel, listening to the debate and watching what's going on, that I'm living in a world that's going mad. I just think too many things. I can't be alone in this. It's not just age, I think it's true. And we need sanity. And there is sanity in this House and within the parties. And I think we're only going to be rescued if sane people can overcome their differences, act in the national interest, and work together. And this bill is an example of it. And I think maybe it's going to lead to a referendum. I cannot see how a general election is going to get us out of our difficulty, because what if it's a hung parliament again? So maybe it's a referendum. That was the first point I wanted to make, which is, be true to your parties, but also look at the national interest before your own party interest when needed. The second concern I have is with the need for a view as to what the future of this country is in the world. The world is changing around us fast. We're in the middle of a technological revolution that is greater than, I think, the Industrial Revolution. If you look at just the last 15 years, 15 years ago we did not have smartphones with apps. And now they're an indispensable part of the lives of everybody, and social media are changing the whole political context in which not just this country, other countries, is happening. And I've chaired conferences recently in Cambridge on quantum computing. I have to say I learned that I can chair meetings without understanding a word of what's said. On blockchain, which is even worse, and DNA, CRISPR-Cas9, for those who are interested. The things which are being brought to fruition in the world of research at the moment are going to alter the world more in the next 10, 15, 20 years than the last 10, 15 years, and that has been fast enough. And we, in the political world, political institutions, have to keep up with it and have to understand it. And Brexit is important, but it's not the only change that's happening, and we need to have a view of the world, as the noble Lord Campbell said earlier. We need to have a view of our place in the world and how we're going to cope with it and how we're going to be equipped to deal with it. And it's not my field, but the tectonic plates of world politics are changing. America and China will dominate the scene. Europe will not be the centre of the world as we've thought of ourselves. And the need to have a position in which we can choose between America and China when each of them puts pressure on us is going to be important. We're going to lack company if we isolate ourselves from the rest of Europe by behaving badly towards them and having no deal. And the context of all of this is going to be fundamental for the future of this country in ways which go deeper just than politics and economics. It will be cultural. I'm hugely bothered by the way in which the word trust has been used. I am used to people trusting government institutions. It's been part of my career to try to uphold trust and ensure that people stay within, know where the boundaries are in a pragmatic way. And one of those boundaries, as the noble Lord, my successor, said just now, has been special advisers. There's been a lot of my time was taken up with special advisers, and I have a question for the government minister when he's replying. It's just a detailed question, but there were, I think there still are, rules governing special advisers. And one of those rules was that they are temporary civil servants and they do not have executive powers. Can the minister assure me, us, that present special advisers are not exercising executive powers? For instance, sacking another special advisor is the exercise of an executive power. Special advisers do not have those powers. If someone purports to sack someone and they don't have the power to do it, is that sacking valid? I assume this has been looked into. The government knows what's going on, but I just raise it because it's a small example of a more general principle, which is that we need to ensure that the codes of conduct, not just gentlemen behaving well, good chaps behaving well, but actually the basic rules of government and codes of government are being observed. And I just feel at the moment, when people feel able to be careless and cavalier with conventions, we ought to be asking questions about whether basic principles are being observed and challenging when not. I think that's enough for now. I could go on at length about the principles at stake today, but so much has been said that I agree with, I won't repeat them. Thank you.